Greetings from the beach hut. This is going to be a different kind of video for me. I thought I would just jump on and talk about and reflect on what I've learned since January 1 when I decided to go natural with my products. The first thing that made me decide to do this was that my skincare was no longer working. I didn't like the way my makeup was looking on me, and so there was kind of a vain reason to do this. But a lot of the companies were very influential in getting me to think about natural products. I wasn't even on the organic scene yet. For example, Tarte. I had tried some of Tarte's cosmetics and liked them. Or Bare Minerals. I had tried some of their cosmetics and liked them. Philosophy is not a natural brand, but there was something about it that appealed or made it seem like it was natural in some way, if that makes sense. I didn't read labels. I wasn't at all even curious. I pretty much just accepted what I saw in the branding of products. At the first of the year, when I decided to look for new skincare, I thought, I'm going to really make this attempt to go natural. The very first mistake I made was that I had no clue what greenwashing was. So if something said on the label, this is natural, I was like, cool beans, this is natural, I can use it. About mid-March, I started making videos, and if you look at my early videos, you'll see me using product that I thought was paraben-free or phenoxyethanol-free. I didn't even know what phenoxyethanol was. And it was only as I began really continuing to study the ingredients that I learned about this thing called greenwashing, and I was stunned and shocked and frustrated. I thought, well, holy cow, this is going to be impossible. How in the world can you find products when the labeling is so far off? I discovered really the only thing you can do is to read labels. I also discovered that even though my impulse was just to find a list, find somebody who's made a list, that's it, give me the list, let me go shopping, that's it, I don't want to deal with it. It doesn't really work because those lists are very personalized judgments. And so I discovered instead that I had to look at the sites. I had to see the sites that were sponsored by the cosmetic companies. I had to look at the other side and see the sites that were sponsored by green companies or natural companies and organic companies and recognize their biases. I had to look at the science to see what the science said. I gradually started to come by websites that I would trust. I really do, for the most part, find the Truth in Aging blog, for me, one of the most balanced, one of the most well-researched, one of the most sane blogs out there. That said, I don't agree 100% with everything I read there, and not all the products they offer in the storefront are products I would use. When it comes right down to it, I had to realize that it was going to be me making the decisions, that I had to study and learn and make the decision, that I couldn't really rely on somebody else's list. So that was number one, read the ingredients, there was no substitute. The other thing I had to recognize is that it's a really dynamic situation, that I couldn't just go, oh, Tarte, it's natural, because I have one green dot product. I made that mistake over and over and over again and continue to make it. So, for example, I looked at the Balm Cosmetics and I liked their eyeshadows that I had gotten on sale at TJ Maxx, and so I just went ahead and ordered the Meet Matte collection, and it got here, phenoxyethanol. So I've also had to learn that just because a company makes one product that's clear, it doesn't mean all their products are, and increasingly with companies like Tarte or Bare Minerals, this is the case. I also, on the other side, can't diss companies for that reason. So I'll look at a company like Philosophy and I'll say, well, they're just going to be chemicals. Not always. And so reading ingredients is really, really important. So it's a dynamic situation. You have to read the ingredients, or I had to read the ingredients. I had to make my own list. I had to study. I've also had to work on other misconceptions. One misconception was there's no natural organic product out there. There just isn't. Give up. I give up. And there are times when you just get overwhelmed, you can forget it. I give up. I'm not going to do this. I have discovered so many natural organic companies that I'm just overwhelmed by the myriad choices and the wonderful products they're producing. So I'm way past the there's nothing out there stage. I also was like, oh, it's going to be too expensive. Everything's really expensive. And it is true that a lot of the products can get really pricey. The Truth in Aging, for example, is a high-end storefront. It just tends to sell products that are more expensive. But I find, for example, Shea Terra is a really reasonable option, I think. It's still not going to be as inexpensive as going into the drugstore, but it's there. And you can go into the drugstore. I mean, Physicians Formula now is coming out with its organic line. Not all of the yes to carrots, yes to blueberries, truth to cucumbers, yes to cucumbers, not all of that line is pure. You do have to watch it. Some of that does have phenoxyethanol, but that's increasingly a choice. So there are even things that you can find in the drugstore. The other misconception I had is that I thought these products won't be really effective. I need something else. And I had this kind of, there is science and chemicals, and there is homeopathic organic. And I've tried homeopathic remedies in the past for various other things, and quite frankly, sometimes I just need drugs. I need something that the doctor cooks up that's not great for me, but that does the job. BRVO in my left eye. I have this right now, and I have a steroid implant in this eye. I am like bionic in this eye. Do I want steroids in my body? Not particularly. Do I want to see? Yes. And so I do have the steroid implant in there, and it does all sorts of things to help me see, and I'm very, very grateful for that. My brother had cancer when he was 10. He went through wicked, wicked chemotherapy. Not natural, but he's alive today. He's 4 years younger than I am, and he has 2 children. But let me get back to the misconception. My misconception was that the products wouldn't be as effective as the science. And what I discovered, particularly coming out of that Silicon Valley area, is that there's a whole bunch of people marrying technology and natural product, and even organic product. And that to me is really, really exciting. I also have been just stunned when I have used organic and natural product that is every bit effective, if not more effective, than the Obagi or the Philosophy products that I was using. Although I am still using my Obagi Elastoderm on my eyes. It is my favorite eye cream. It is going to be a difficult one to let go of. Truth be told, I might never let go of it, but I will try. Sometimes I think my goal is simply to cut down on the number of products that I am layering on top of my skin that have parabens and phenoxyethanol. Other times I think, man, I could really do this 100%. I could go 100% natural. So we shall see. What does this mean? It means that as I'm making shopping decisions, I'm always looking at ingredients, reading ingredients, trying to discover new things and make choices. I'm also trying to sample and really give things good, truthful runs. And I'm not trying to either assume that because they're natural, they're going to be wonderful and do the job, or because they are natural, that they're going to be less effective. I just have to get them on my skin and see what happens. And I found a great deal of pleasure in doing that. It's been fun all of a sudden. I've broken past that point of where it was frustrating and awful and discovered that it's just fun. It's fun to read ingredients. I never thought I would say that. But it's fun to read ingredients. It's fun to read about the companies. It's fun to see what people are doing. So the very dynamic part of it that was so frustrating to me is now really, really fun, and I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying learning about these products. One other thing that has been a great deal of fun is to discover the indie companies, the small independent companies. And I enjoy that a great deal, and I want to support those companies. I want to support Glamour Doll Eyes and Makeup Geek and Pumpkin and Puppy. I really love the passion that they put into the products, and I like the vision and the artistry and the entrepreneurship. Just everything about that impresses me. When I shop, I like to make sure that I'm not only supporting the big companies, but that I'm supporting the startups and the indies. So I like being able to put my money in a company like Shea Terra. I just like the idea of supporting those companies that are starting up. So now I find myself at a new crossroads, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. If you are looking at natural, organic, indie companies, it's not too long before you get into the issue of animal cruelty, which is every bit as complex and complicated as the natural and organic. There is the equivalent of greenwashing going on, companies that say they don't test on animals, but if you kind of pick at the chain a little, they do. Some people really believe that unless you're vegan, not just vegetarian, but unless you're vegan, unless you're not owning pets, and that you're in the animal cruelty loop. So it is difficult as you're looking to get a foothold or a handle, and I have to say that I'm in that frustrated stage. I'm in that stage where I think, well, there won't be any product, or the product won't be any any good, even though I'm already using a product that's vegan and that doesn't use animal testing. Or I'm thinking it's just impossible, it just can't be done. But it was tugging at me, and I kept having to come back to it and come back to it and come back to it. So where am I with animal cruelty, animal testing, testing on animals? I have looked at Leaping Bunny. I know about PETA. I have downloaded now my little lists that tell you about which company yes, which company no, and there are various lists. I tell you, it is just like these lists of paraben-free, chemical-free, what is natural, what is organic. You're going to find the same variation in lists from various places. So the PETA list is not the same as the Leaping Bunny list, and it goes on. And that might prove frustrating, but that's the situation. That's the way it is. You say there are 3 YouTube channels I've learned a lot from, and I'm going to put those in the information bar. Barbie Deluxe. She has a real name. I can't think of it right now. She was saying sometimes you just have to accept that people will make small steps towards this. And I really appreciated that, because somehow she, in saying that, gave me permission to make small steps. Because that's all I'm going to do, guys. It's going to be small steps. I'm not even vegetarian. I feed my dogs dog food with meat. I don't know. You know, that would just be a whole life-changing thing. I'm Portuguese. We eat fish. Then I have to say, I look at a tape that says, you know, these people are hypocrites because, you know, they eat meat and then they oppose animal testing, and I think, okay, but I love my linguiça. We eat chicken. We eat meat. I don't eat as much as I used to. We do a lot of juicing. I use one thing. So putting that aside and just looking at, can I change my buying practices for cosmetics? And I think the answer is yes, I can. Let me give you one example. Maybelline. I have the Maybelline color tattoos. I'm not going to throw them away. I've already bought them. I've already supported them. And that's really what this is about. It's about putting your money in the places you want to see companies go. So if you want to see, for example, more natural organic product, buy natural organic product. I'm going to go buy that Physicians Formula mascara at some point just because they make it, and I want them to be encouraged to continue along that line. I've heard mixed things about it, but I'll try it. I mean, it's not that much. But I saw the Maybelline ad, and look at those colors. Those just have my little makeup professor name all over them. I am drooling. I am looking at these. Maybelline animal testing. So, no. Now, it helps that these are the Color Sensational formula, which I think has kind of a funky smell, so it's not my favorite formula, but I do have a couple of those lipsticks and probably won't throw them out. They are phenoxyethanol-free, they are paraben-free. So what am I going to do? Look at all these gorgeous colors. Well, I started to look and I went, you know, I already bought a couple of those plummy colors from Makeup Geek. So I already have kind of 2 of these colors from Makeup Geek. I think what I'll do instead is go back to the Makeup Geek site, look at some of the other shades, and see what I want to buy. I might not be able to find more plummy colors because I think I bought the 2 kind of purple undertones that she had, but I can go and look at some other fall colors from that Makeup Geek line and feel comfortable about supporting a company that doesn't test on animals and that uses products that are good. Now, she's not natural organic, but the products are pretty darn clean. I don't think they're vegan. I think they have wax in them. I think it's beeswax. However, it is a baby step. It's a step in the right direction. It is supporting, I think, a small indie company, Makeup Geek, supporting that direction rather than the Maybelline. I will continue to watch the YouTube videos. I will continue to learn from them, and I'm going to try to make baby steps and more informed choices. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm in the baby step part of my journey. Overall, I have been just having a blast with my New Year's resolution. I can't remember a New Year's resolution I've enjoyed as much as this one. I'm just going to continue playing and learning and shopping differently, really thinking about where I put my cosmetic dollars, because baby, I spend them. If you've gotten this far in the video, thank you for allowing me to natter on a bit and talk and just ruminate, give my impressions. I know my decisions won't please everyone. I know that I won't be convincing to some of you that you should try natural and organic. I know that for many of you, my options in terms of cruelty-free cosmetics isn't nearly enough. I know that for many of you, my meat-eating ways are really a turnoff. But I just want to be honest about who I am and about the decisions and the choices I'm making. I don't want to represent something I'm not. Yes, I do yoga. Yes, I do natural makeup. But there's a big part of me that's still, living with less than 100% natural and organic. There is still that part of me that is using the Obagi Elastoderm, even though I know full well what's in it. That said, I'm on a Maybelline no buy. I'm still going to use my color tattoos because I have them. I've already bought them. But every time I use a Maybelline product, I will do this. I will point out that they do animal testing. And those are the kinds of small things that I feel comfortable doing. Okay, it's Monday. Hope you have a great start to your week. Make it a really, really good one. Bye.